Okay, hello. I'm making a review video for you guys just in case you would like to study for your test, which I really encourage you guys to do. If you're watching this video, that means you've seen my updates. I'm sorry for my 50 million updates. I'm doing better. At least I'm not sending you Schoology messages every time or emails. But I actually probably will send this one as an email, just so that you guys can all get it. I know some people don't check their Schoology messages, so you might actually see this in email. I might send it out to parents as well. Just as a review video for you guys to kind of go over what's been happening in this unit. And if you're completely lost, I think this video is definitely going to help you. This unit, we've been going over applications of linear functions. If you go onto your Schoology page, I actually have the green folder in our Schoology page for all of the content that we've done. So up until this point, everything in this folder has been covered and it has already been uploaded on the folder. If you go to Wednesday, I do have our notes and I have extra practice and I have the videos. If you go to Friday, I have the notes. I have the textbook notes and then also the videos. And then same thing for Monday, I have our notes in there. And then I also have the textbook extra notes and practice. I couldn't find a good practice for slopes and parallel of lines that's kind of similar to the content that we did. If I do find one, I'll go ahead and upload that on there for you guys, but I could not find one that was similar to what we had did. But there is the textbook extra notes and practice, the videos, and then also you guys have your Delta Math homework. Delta Math homework tonight, it says that it's an estimated time of 17 minutes, so you should be getting it done around 17-ish minutes. If you're struggling with a question, again, send me a screenshot on Schoology and I'll send you a video tutorial back as soon as I can. If you need help, please come to open tutorials, open, keyword open, open tutorials on Tuesdays or Friday. Tuesday, tomorrow, I will have a ton of students in here to finish their quick check. So if you are trying to come in, you need to be in here quick because my room is going to reach capacity and I need to have every student at a desk. So if I don't have a student at a desk, then I cannot let you in here. I believe I have 23 seats, so if you do need help, please come in here as soon as possible. But I just have some students coming in to finish their quick check from today. So if that's you, and I'm talking about you, then please try to come up here as quick as you can. I'm not holding anything. I'm not holding space for anybody. It's just whoever the first 23 people are to come. If there's extra people, then we have to find a new place. Don't panic. Please don't panic. On Wednesday, if you were not able to come on Tuesday, I will give you another chance. I'll just hand you back your quick check along with your test. But then you're responsible for finishing your test and your quick check. Test and quick check. I'm going to hand you your test back first. If you finish your test quick enough or you just feel like you just will go ahead and try to knock out your quick check, I can hand that to you as well, but I'm going to give you your test first because that is the most important part. Your test should not take you the entire period. We have 45 minutes blocked off for you guys to finish your test. And we have the other 45 minutes of class the other 35 minutes of class for us to review and do other stuff. But for those that would like to do both, I would like to do that. We're going to do a little bit review before class, and then you're going to go ahead and just hop straight into the test and quick check if you need to finish it. Otherwise, I have all the resources on Schoology. I have every single thing in there, and I also have the Delta Math homeworks. If you have not been doing your homework, which a lot of people came back from the break and have not been doing the homework, I also have the Delta Math homeworks as resources as well. There's videos, there's examples, there's even more problems if you need some more practice. There's a ton of help on Delta Math. Delta Math is a very, very good resource. If you don't like Delta Math, that's okay. IXL has all of the topics that we are currently doing in class right now. They have videos, they have examples, they have problems on problems on problems. So if you'd like to also practice on IXL, the only thing about IXL is that you would have to actually go in and search the content that we're talking about. I should have most of it starred already on there so that way you don't have to go looking for it. But in case you do have to go looking for it, go to IXL, go to math skills, and then select the skills that we're doing right now, which is slope, slope intercept, point slope, and standard form, and parallel and perpendicular lines. You'll be able to see that. It's towards the bottom of the math page if you would like to do that. Other than that, if you have any questions, if you need any help on anything, and you're trying to reach me like as soon as possible, and you maybe didn't get into my tutoring, send me a message on Schoology. please send me a message on Schoology. I've had one student message me on Schoology since he got back from break. And I sent him a 15-minute video just going over all the questions he was confused on. He sent me screenshots of all the questions he was confused on, and I sent him a video back. If you can't reach me, you want to reach me, you have no idea what you're doing, and message me. Please message me. I check my email 50 times a day. Even though I say don't bother me on the weekends, please message me if you need help. That's what I'm here for. I check it 50 million times a day. Now, if it's something not math related and not homework related and etc., that's what I'm talking about. Don't message me, because I had the beginning of school year that happened a lot. But however, if you need help, please send me a screenshot. I'll send you a video back. If it's just one question, it'll probably be like 5 minutes long. So if it's a multiple, I'll send you another video. Other than that, I'll go heading into the review. You might hear some shuffling in the background because I'm about to hit passing period, but just in case. Question number 1. It says to find the slope. Find the slope of the line through these points. So if I gave you a point, 1/2 and -3, and then I gave you another point, let's do 3/8 and -5. I gave you this point. I said find the slope. When I'm talking about finding the slope, I'm telling you to find what m is, what the rate of change is, what the rise over run is, the change in y over the change in x. There's several different ways to say slope. Slope, slope, slope. That's measuring how steep that your graph is going. Some graphs are more steeper than others. Some are more slanted than others. Some are just horizontal or vertical lines like we've seen in class. There's different things about slope. So if you don't know the slope, the first thing that you want to think of is, oh, I need the slope formula to find what my slope is. On your test, we're going to give you the slope formula, we're going to give you the point slope form, and we're going to give you the slope intercept. Because in your STAR test that you're taking in the spring, these are the 3 formulas that they're going to give you on the test, and we want you to be able to utilize those to your fullest potential. When we do this on our test, I'm going to give you all of them at the top of the page, so you don't have to memorize them, but it would be really encouraged if you did memorize them as well. Our slope formula is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if we're looking at this, we're looking at our 2 points that we have. So our 2 points, my first set of points, hint, hint, my first set of points, I have 1/2 comma -3. So this is my x1 and this is my y1. If I'm looking at my second set of points, this is my x2 and my y2. As soon as you know this information, you can go ahead and fill out this formula. So I have m is equal to y2 minus y1. y2 is -5, and then y1 is a -3. The formula, however, is y2 minus y1. If I have a minus, I'm going to rewrite my minus sign as well. This is my negative symbol. So I have -5 minus a -3. And this is all over. x2 minus x1. x2 is 3/8 minus my 1/2. On your test, yes, you will have your calculators. I'm going to give you your calculators, and I'm also going to give you a little graphing graphing thingy, as we call it. It's just a little graph that you can draw on with your Excel markers. I'll give you guys some fresh Excel markers for you guys to use on your test. But you will have your calculator. Please don't freak out that I didn't give you your calculator. You will have your calculator. It's just NSolve should be disabled by the time you get them back. If they are not, NSolve is not going to help you on this test. I promise you. NSolve is not going to help you on this test. If you've been relying on NSolve for the entire first semester, first 9 weeks, it's not going to work this time. You actually have to know what you're doing. When you use your calculator, you're going to put this exactly into your calculator. Exactly into your calculator. If you did this, put it exactly how you see it here, you should get 16. If you solved it by hand, you have -5 minus a -3. Those two, this minus and this negative sign next to each other, actually makes this a big positive. It makes this a huge positive. So, since they cancel each other out. This would be -5 plus 3, which is a -2. This is over. 3/8 minus 1/2 is actually a -1/8. And then we are here. This brings us back to 7th and 8th grade. We have -2 divided by a -1/8. If we see a fraction over a fraction, we should know that it's keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep our first one. We're going to change our division to a multiplication, and then we're going to flip our fraction that's on the bottom. So it should have -2 times -8, which gives me a positive 16. If you didn't do it by hand, that's okay. I don't expect you to. I have not talked about fractions. We don't have a fractions unit in Algebra 1. We don't teach fractions in Algebra 1. This is a 7th and 8th grade concept that's just getting brought back again. So our m here is 16. So for my final answer, I would write m is equal to 16. That's it. That's all you do. That's all you do. And that's finding slope for anything. Anytime some question doesn't give you a slope, find it. Figure out what it is. It's going to want to figure out what the slope is. There is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions that just deal with slope. Finding the slope has some relation to finding the slope. The entire first question is just what's the slope. The other ones are looking for the equation. If I were to give you a graph, say a graph for example, and I told you to find the slope of this graph, I'm going to label my graph as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. And then I plotted 2 points. Let's plot this one and let's plot this one. And I told you to find the slope. That's all I want is the slope. You don't have to use the slope formula. You can. You could find what the points are and do the slope formula. Or you can just do rise over run. You can just do rise over run. I'm going to change my colors. This is my point. I'm going to label it for you guys, but you don't have to. This is the point 2, 1. And then this is the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. So I'm trying to get from 2, 1 to 4, 4. Well, to do that, I'm going to go up by 1, 2, 3. So my rise should be 3. And then I'm going over by 1, 2. So it should be over 2. So my slope is m is equal to 3/2. What's important to keep in mind is the direction of which your graph is going. If your graph is going up, then that means that your graph is a positive slope. If my graph were going down, I'm going to write this in another color, and it's going down like this, this means that I have a negative slope. This indicates a negative slope. This is what we learned at the end of the 9 weeks last time. Negative slope goes from a positive value to a negative value. Our positive slopes go from a negative value to a positive value. So for this one, if it's going down in the green, that means we'd have a negative slope. So if we're to have the same thing, it'd just end up being a -3/2. In this case, my graph is going up, so I know I have a positive slope, but you may see a different one. It might be a negative, might be a positive, depends on your test version. If I were to tell you to write this equation in slope-intercept form, first of all, you need to figure out what slope-intercept form is. Slope-intercept form, we'll give you on the test, is y equals mx plus b. You found what your m is, so we have y is equal to 3/2 x, but you don't know what your b is. What's the b? Well, your b is where your graph is intersecting on your y-axis. So if I were to actually officially label this, I can label it like this. My graph is right here intersecting. This right here is a -2. So for my b, I would write this as y is equal to 3/x minus 2. This would be my equation. Your b is always where your graph intersects with your y-axis. That's question number 2. If I were to give you, if I were to go back to number 1, say we found the slope, we know how to find slope, we're good with slope. And now I'm telling you, okay, we'll find the equation. Find the equation. Let's look for that. EQHN. Like, okay, well, my slope, I need this in slope-intercept form. Y is equal to 16x plus b. And I don't know what my b is. No idea what my b is. One, you could plot this on a graph, and then you could find where it intersects with one of these points. Or you can actually use the information that they already gave you and solve for b. On your homework, this was a question that was on there and some people were confused about. This is an application. Applying the knowledge that you know to find what you're missing. So if I had y is equal to 16x plus b, well, I know I have two set of points. Doesn't matter which set of points that you use, just one of them. If I were to use this first one right here, let's take a look. 1/2, comma, -3. My y value there is -3. My m is still 16. My x value is 1/2, so I'm gonna write this as 1/2. And then I'm looking for b. I don't know what b is, but I'm gonna find it. I have -3 is equal to 16 times 1/2. That's the same thing as saying 16 divided by 2. This is 8, and this is plus b. And then I'm solving for b, so I need to get b alone by itself on one side of the equation. To do that, I'm going to subtract 8. Subtract 8. These two 8s, a positive 8 and a negative 8, are going to cancel. And then I have -3 minus 8, so this is a -11. And that is equal to my b. I'm not done yet. I solved for b, but I still need to put my equation together. So my final equation, right, is different color, is y is equal to 16x minus 11. This would be my final answer. This is my final answer. If you say you had a point 0, comma, -4, well, you don't even need to solve anything. You don't need to find anything like this. These are level 1. These are level 1. There's no thinking involved besides slope. If I had one where it said 0, comma, -4, I'm going to rewrite this, of 0, comma, -4, anything 0, comma, something is always going to be where your y-intercept is. 0, comma, something. That second point is always going to be your y-intercept if it's 0 first. So in this case, if I had this situation, then my equation would be, I'm trying to look for a different color. I'm running out of colors. Would be y is equal to 16x minus 4. You don't have to do anything else besides find the slope because they gave you what the y-intercept is. If you see something like this on your test, which you will, please don't spend any more time than you need to. These questions go quick. The STAR test goes quick. There's plenty of questions on there, and some of them are gimmicks to try to get you to mess up. This is one of them. It wants you to do the extra work, take up your time, and make you slow down on the others. This is one of those. These are one of those questions. You are going to see one of these on your test. We want to get you prepared for what you're going to see in the spring. So these ones would be good examples of this. Most of them talk about a slope-intercept form. But what if I told you that I want this in point-slope form? I'm going to make a new question number 3. If I have I give you an m of 1/2, and then I give you a point 6, comma, -1. And now I want this in point-slope form. Point-slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. First thing I want to do is label my stuff. My first set of points, this is my first set of points. This is my x1, this is my y1. Now I can go ahead and actually fill in the information. So I have y. I don't know what a y is. They didn't give me a y. I have a y1. They gave me a y1. This is my first y value. So I have y minus my y1. y1 is a -1. Is equal to my m. My m, well, they told me it was 1/2. And I have x. I don't have an x value that they gave me, but I do have my 1 coordinate, which is my x1, minus 6. This is it. That's your answer. Write the equation of a line in point-slope form with the slope of 1/2 through the point 6, comma, -1. This would be your answer. No further simplifying. A lot of people were trying to simplify on their homework 12. I said not to simplify. Delta Math will still take it if you simplified, but Do not simplify it if it asks for it in point slope form. Point slope form is point slope form. You don't need to do anything else. You may see a question where it doesn't give you the m. So that means that you need to do 2 steps. You need to use the slope formula, and then you need to use the point slope formula. There's 2 steps now you need to take instead of just 1. Some questions will give you the slope and a point. Some questions will give you 2 points and tell you to find the slope, the point slope form. So you need to find the slope first and then just take whatever set of points that you want. You just need to do that. Other questions, standard form. We talked about standard form. Standard form, if I do this, if I had, I'm trying to think of numbers, 2x plus 3y is equal to 4, I don't know. And it wants it in slope-intercept form. I have to remember, again, what slope-intercept form is. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So I need to get in this form. That means I need to isolate my y value. I need to get that y value to be completely alone. Nothing else touching it, nothing else around it. Leave it alone on that side of the equal sign. To do that, I have 2x plus 3y is equal to 4. I'm going to subtract 2x on this side, subtract 2x on this side. These 2 values are going to cancel because I have a positive 2x minus a 2x. This gives me 3y is equal to 4 minus 2x. To undo a 3y. 3y is the same thing as saying 3 times y. So to undo this, I'm going to divide by 3. I'm going to divide by 3 on this side as well. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So this way, those 2 are going to cancel. And I'm left with y is equal to 4 over 3 minus 2 over 3x. This would be my final answer. They would be left as fractions. You don't need to do any decimals. There's no decimals on this test. Fraction form, please. You leave it just like this, and that's it. That's your answer. If you were to see another question, which you will, I'm looking straight at the test, and says, what is the y-intercept? You should tell me the y-intercept is 4/3. If I asked you what the m is, you should tell me that it's negative 2/3. I would like for you to be able to identify what y-intercept and slope is. Looking at second part of the test, I'm scrolling along. Same thing, you see writing equations. You're probably going to have to draw some equations on there. You're going to have to graph some equations on there. This is where you can utilize your calculator if you really, really need to. The calculator-based questions, nobody should get wrong. So the ones where it's telling you graph this, nobody should be getting them wrong because I'm giving you a calculator to use. I might even give you guys the Desmos calculator if I'm feeling that you guys are ready for that. Otherwise, you guys will see your normal inspires. The Desmos calculator is 10 times easier to work with, and that's the calculator that you actually get on your test. So I might actually look into figuring out how to let you guys use that on your test. Otherwise, please expect to see your inspire. But this is what you will see. Graphing. If I tell you to find the slope, I need another page. If I tell you to find the slope, what question was that? Question 4. Question 5. If I were to tell you to find the slope of a line parallel to y is equal to 1/4 x plus 2. If you see parallel anything. Anything that's parallel is going to have the same slope. Parallel, same slope. Same slope, different y-intercept. You can give me any equation in the world that you want to make up, and as long as it has a different y-intercept, it's correct. You could give me, this is my slope is 1/4 x. So if you gave me y is equal to 1/4 x plus 2.1, you decide to give me a decimal, even if I said no decimals, that's an answer. That's a correct answer. It's parallel. It has the same slope and a different y-intercept. If you gave me y is equal to 4x plus, 5, that's still correct. You gave me a different y-intercept, same slope. Y is equal to 1/4 x minus 3. It's a negative number. Minus 3 is down 3, but it's still a different y-intercept, same slope. If you decided to to be u, and you gave me y is equal to 1/4 x plus 1,783, that's still parallel. It's still parallel because the slope is the same. The slope is the same. It does not matter what you put that y-intercept as. The line is still going to be parallel as long as the slope is the same. As long as the slope is the same, it does not matter. This process is the same for your perpendicular. If we're talking about perpendicular, if I was talking about perpendicular, it's the opposite slope, or you can say the negative reciprocal. The opposite slope or the negative reciprocal. You can put anything in the world that you want to for this y-intercept. This y-intercept is useless. It's useless. And on the test, you're gonna see big numbers. It's useless. And that's what the point we want to get to, is that this y-intercept, when we're talking about parallel and perpendicular lines, has no purpose. It has no purpose. So if I were to give you the same equation, y is equal to 1/4 x, what is this, plus 2? And I want the perpendicular version, my original slope is 1/4. So I need the negative reciprocal, or the complete opposite. I'm going to change this is understood to be positive. I'm going to change my positive to a negative. And then I'm going to flip my numerator and denominator, so that way this makes a -4/1. -4/1 is equivalent to saying -4. So it does not matter what number you put for your y-intercept, as long as it has a slope of -1/4, it's perpendicular to this line. So I'm gonna make some choices for you. Y is equal to -4x. Let's see, plus 2. If you want to just keep the same slope, okay. Because this time there's different equations. Y is equal to -4x minus 3. Y is equal to -4x. Let's do a big number. Let's do the time, 438. It does not matter. It does not matter. As long as the slope, for this one, it actually can have the same y-intercept. It doesn't have to have a different one. It doesn't have to, because they have different slopes. The slope for this one has to be the opposite. That's the only requirement. It has to be the opposite slope. It absolutely has to be the opposite slope. So opposite, you flip your numerator and denominator, and you change the sign to the opposite sign. So if it's a negative sign, you need to have a positive sign for your reciprocal. If it's a positive sign, you need to have a negative sign for your reciprocal. There's going to be 2 questions that's asking you to graph. You're going to graph one that is parallel to this line, and you're going to graph one that is perpendicular to this line. Again, it does not matter which one you do. However, if it says to graph it through a certain point, then you want to make sure that you change your x and your y values, and you solve it similarly to how you solve this one. I'm going to go ahead and do an example with you. If I have y is equal to 1/4 x plus 2, and I want this to pass, I want the perpendicular version that passes through the point -1, 1. I want the perpendicular version, so I need to find my perpendicular slope. In this case is -4. So I have part of this already. Y is equal to -4 x plus b. And then I want it to pass through the point -1, 1. This is my x. This is my y. I'm going to replace these in my equation. I'm going to change my y to a 1, my -4, and then I'm changing my x to a -1. And then I have plus b. What I'm solving for is my y-intercept, because I want it to pass through a certain point. I'm getting specific now, I know. I want it to pass through a certain point. If I want it to pass through a certain point, I just need to change this and figure out what my b is. I have 1 is equal to -4 times -1. This is a positive 4 plus b. I need to isolate b and get it by itself, so I'm going to subtract 4 over here. Subtract 4 over here. I have 1 minus 4 is a -3 is equal to b. So for my perpendicular slope, my perpendicular equation that passes through the point -1, 1 is y is equal to -4x minus 3. This equation is perpendicular to this equation right here, and also passes through the point -1, 1. These are questions that you're going to see on the test. There's a bonus question on the test if you decide to answer it. Your test question is worth 5 points each. You have 20 questions. You are going to see ones on there as well x equals something and y equals something, just remember that x equals is a horizontal line. Horizontal. And that y is a vertical line. Horizontal lines have a 0 slope, and vertical lines have a undefined. These two are reciprocals. They're perpendicular to each other. So these two are perpendicular to each other. They're both perpendicular to each other. If you're looking for something parallel, you just write something that's the same. If I had y is equal to -10, something that's parallel to this is y is equal to 1. If I wanted something that's perpendicular to x is equal to -3, anything that's perpendicular to -3 would be just anything on the y equals. So I can do y equals -3 as well. I can do that, or I can do y is equal to 2. These are both perpendicular. Oh, it's just an arrow, perpendicular. You will be asked to graph those as well. They're lines. They're lines. You'll have your calculator as well. These are all good resources. There's not 5 questions on the test. Again, I wrote 5 problems for you guys, and I just kind of broke each one down to as much as I could. But there's 20 questions on your test. 20 questions. If you do not make it to my tutoring tomorrow, again, I'm going to let you go ahead and try to finish your quick check on Wednesday. Otherwise, I'm just going to grade it as is if you do not have extra time accommodations. I do want to give you guys the opportunity to finish your stuff. We'll do a little mini review before we start the test. I'll take any burning questions. But other than that, this is your review video. I'm going to try to post this as soon as possible. I don't know how long it's going to take to upload. I'm going to send an email out with this link, just in case parents or you guys would like to watch it. It's very, very helpful. I know it's kind of messy. Please look out the resources on Schoology. Please, 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 please. And do not forget to do your homework. You want to do this homework. I promise you want to do this homework. Please do this homework. This homework has a little bit of a benefit to it. So if you're watching this and you made it to the end, do your homework. Do your homework. Turn in your work. You will see the outcome. Do your homework. Other than that, thank you for watching all the way through. I don't know how long this video is. I've been talking for a while, and this is my 3rd time making this, so please reach out if you have any other questions. On Schoology, come to my open tutorials Tuesdays and Fridays. I don't have mandatory this week for Algebra 1. I have a review day for my Algebra 2 folks. So please reach out if you need anything before the test. Thanks.